conversation about discussion, conversation about sort of next steps on H401. If there's anybody else who the committee feels they need to hear from, we can try and arrange that. So the bill is on notice right now. I think will be taken off notice and sent maybe to, I've got to check with the clerk on this. I'm not sure whether it actually will go to the Ways and Means Committee. They need to look at it. What our options are, anytime a bill comes back that's been amended by the Senate, are to concur with the amendment. So we can, as we have done in the past, we can just say we're happy with that. We can amend it further if we say that we're not satisfied with what we've got here, we'd like to make a change or changes, and then send it back to the Senate. And then, as you've heard, the third option is to have a committee of conference. Fourth option, I guess, is not do anything at all. But if we want to move the bill forward, we want to do one of the first three. So the timing is a little bit of an issue here, just because we're right at the end of the session, and the Senate committee stops meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow will be their last day. So the morning committees in the Senate stop their work usually before the afternoon committees, so that they can all focus on the budget and education bill this year.
Do they ever have sort of special, warned meetings?
Yeah, well, that's yes. I imagine they do, although I don't know actually in practice how that works. But anyway, it's a consideration. And yes, Representative Lipsky.
Because I'm leaving in 2 minutes.
Yes.
I just want to state for the record that I'm very supportive of H401. Would not like to see it, willed and die. I'd like to try to move it forward with some expediency. I think there's so many positives for our food economy on the most modest scales, which is incredibly important to many people, that I'd like to see us move on it. And I'll be available to act on it or do a straw poll.
Should we come back and vote after session today or something, or what?
Yeah, or we could do it even tomorrow morning. I think, if we're not at a place today where we're ready to do that, and maybe we will be, but we can also, if we're not ready, I'll just say so everybody knows, we could push it back to next week. And I think it may be pushed back anyway to next week. I need to check with the clerk's office on that. So thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Anyway, so those are the options. There's also the question of, what would the Senate do, even if if the committee was meeting, and how would they react? They might feel, no, this is where we are. And then the administration may also have, opinions on the bill, and often those are reflected in the testimony that we get from the agencies or the department. So we've heard, the department was involved in crafting the new version of the bill, and we've heard obviously their testimony yesterday. So anyway, that's, I think, where we are. And I know that there are a couple of things that come up that we might want to continue talking about. So we can do that now. People have other thoughts.
I think at this point, in the year, that it'd be good to just, help this bill make it to the finish line. I'd like to see the thresholds be higher on non-breakers and food manufacturers. But if it's not possible to make that happen this year, I think it's better to have something to offer that's better.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Just on that, is there ever language put in to say, in almost like a sunset type thing, where you revisit the numbers and to either correct them because of inflation or revisit them because maybe after a couple of years, you're like, wow, these were really too low.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see that there's an inflator built in that ties it into CPI, or there's a specific regional, I think, cost of living adjuster that is often, and I don't know why that isn't in more often, except that it means that it may be unclear to, like in this case, the food producer, what is the number? How high can it go? Because it's, it was $10,000 in 2000, it's gone up by some number, and I have no idea, 25 years later what that is. That may be an argument, but yeah, I think more that's the kind of thing that you would see, or just a straight number that has to be revisited. So, one thing that we could do is, if anyone wants to have a conversation with the, offline with the department or with our Senate counterparts, and just get a sense of what their appetite might be. Again, recognizing that there may be an openness to doing something, but time is also a consideration this year.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same as Greg. I'd be happy to support it as it is, but I wonder, also, it just doesn't feel like it would necessarily be that complicated, even for us to revisit it next year. I mean, I've seen this happen before where you pass a bill and then you're like, oh, you know what? We didn't quite get it right. We want to amend this one part. And next year, somebody introduces a small bill, and maybe even as a committee bill, we say, you know what, we want to relook at this one number. And then, it's not like we're still in the same biennium. Like we can, if this bill is done, we then start with that as the ground level, and we still could look at upgrading the number if it made sense. But I think waiting to do the whole thing is going to delay it by at least a year. And, in terms of we've got 2 weeks left, and our Senate colleagues are adjourning tomorrow in terms of committee reviews. So I think moving it forward as it is in the best interests of the issues.
Does anybody feel strongly or in another direction? Feel that actually would be better to not concur?
As far as 401?
Yeah, I know you had expressed yesterday some concerns about it.
Well, when we originally put this before our committee, it was just simply to increase the threshold. And it was quite simplistic, and it looked good. It was easy to understand. When it came back from the Senate, I felt that it added too many things. It added another category because some other state did that kind of thing. And it just seemed to me that it was a little bit cumbersome, a little bit confusing. And I just wondered how people would perceive it when if it became law. But these two people that were on earlier seemed to be happy with it. One indicated that he felt, let's keep this simplified and not so confusing for people. So that's my concern. Overall, I think it's a great idea, but I just think the Senate went a little too far as making it a simplified, easy to understand bill for the people that are going to have live with it. Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think maybe that's good. If nobody else has anything else you want to add, I think since we don't have everybody, I know both Jed and Richard I think said yesterday that he would be supportive. We could, Leland, we don't need to have everyone support the bill, obviously. And if you're not comfortable with it.
I'll be supporting it. It's just, that's a concern, but
Okay.
with their discussions, I guess I'm okay with that.
So, all right, good. Well, then I think, we can wait and do a formal straw poll later. In the meantime, feel free to have conversations with, as I suggested, if you want, with other folks. I'm gonna find out about the timing of the bill. I'm also gonna just find out a little bit more about what happens after Friday when a committee is no longer actually formally meeting in the Senate. Do they ever get back together? They got to figure it out.
Do we need them to get back together for this bill?
No, only if we amended it, yeah. And
And I wouldn't change my vote, but can we ask about CBD at some point?
oh, yeah,
THC maybe.
so as ingredients,
Just on those sort of, those such as, I was sort of curious about where they came up with this. Because a lot of them, you know, like trail mix could be, God knows what.
yeah.
So how you define trail mix is like,
All right,
David,
hi, good morning.
Jessica Shabano, Department of Health. So I just wanted to clarify for the CBD products, those are regulated by the Cannabis Control Board. That would not fall under the manufactured food products that the department.
CBD, really?
Yeah, any CBD product. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, so before there was a cannabis control board, I think it feels like their CBD was already on the shelves. CBD
For sure.
infused products were available.
I confirmed with my colleagues that they're the regulatory authority for
Okay.
the CBD and cannabis products.
Yeah,
That,
okay.
you know, that would not fall under
Yes.
yes, any of the cottage food products or the products that we're talking about here.
So if there were concerns, they'd have to go there as opposed to this.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, then I think we can take another break. At 11, Michael Chernick will be in and I think the commissioner. Yeah, to look at that. And then I have to step out then at 11, so Representative Supernaut can lead the conversation. I don't think it'll be a long conversation. Then we'll have a straw poll on that. So that Jed can report it on the floor.